The next chance to buy Bitcoin is coming soon. Do not mess this up. Even if you are an altcoin degen, you need to have a core position in Bitcoin in order to have consistent gains. This is especially true in this cycle where Bitcoin has completely decoupled from every single other crypto. In today's live stream, I'll give you a super simple strategy to find the best entries into Bitcoin. We won't be predicting where price goes week after week and trying to nail the absolute bottom. Instead, I employ a strategy where I'm happy enough with a good enough strategy that can usually hit, because my targets are usually pretty conservative when it comes to buying dips. But I'll also include a bottom line as a support level for Bitcoin's bull market to continue. So this way I know when to keep holding and when to actually get out. So ultimately, we only care about buying Bitcoin when it drops to a value range and knowing that our thesis is still correct. Also, make sure to watch till the end as I'll be giving an update on my recent altcoin trades on Bitcoin, not only Bitcoin, but Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and some of my favorite altcoins in the blue chips for each narrative. And I'll be showing you the levels that I'll be buying next as well. So welcome everyone. If you're new here to the channel, my name is Dennis. I'm a crypto angel investor for the past 6 years, and I have invested in over 100 crypto startups. On this channel, I share views on market trends and investing strategy to build wealth in crypto. So make sure to stay till the end. If you have any questions, leave them down in the chat and we will do a quick Q&A. So let me bring up the charts for you guys and let's just get right into the strategy on Bitcoin. So there are two key levels that you need to watch on Bitcoin in order to first find the value entries that are good enough, and second is to know when the Bitcoin bull market is still continuing versus when it has ended. And very simply, they are the 20-week simple moving average and the 50-week simple moving average. So you can find these directly on TradingView. Very simple. You can go in the indicators and you can type up moving average, right? And you can use the exponential if you want, but usually the SMA is good enough because SMA 20, 50 are simplest. And it's, whenever you just say moving average, that's the one. So what I have here is the compound indicator that has up to 4 that you can put at the same time, and I have 20 and 50. Now, what you'll see here is that the 20 is in this light blue, and the 50-week SMA is the dark blue. So very simple. Over the past 2 years, since Bitcoin bottomed at 16, 17K, and it has gotten into a consistent uptrend again, each time that the prices dropped, it always held above the 50-week simple moving average. It held here, it held here, it held here. And the only exception was way back at 20K. But remember, back here, technically the bull run hasn't even started because it didn't even get above the 50-week as resistance yet. So this is the bottom line that you need to know. As long as Bitcoin holds above the 50-week simple moving average and on a weekly candle close basis, so looking at one of these wicks doesn't count because that's within the week, because this time frame is per candle, it takes 1 week. So if price drops below but comes back within 1 to 2 days, the candle will close above, and that's still fine. So this isn't some magic number. It's just looking at historically this bull run. What's the average drawdown on Bitcoin whenever there's a correction? And the 50-week SMA is that bottom line. It has been for the past 2.5 years. So as long as Bitcoin stays above the dark blue average line, the 50-week SMA, it's in a bull market. That's the first very simple strategy. So that level currently sits at 82.6K. So we're very, very far away from it. You don't have to worry. And also remember, as price is trading above this blue average line, this line is going to keep trending up and up like this until the price either crosses below or stays above. As long as price stays above the average line is continuing to rise. So that means by the time these two converges, the bottom line is going to be higher. So I don't even think we'll even get to 82K at all. Something like around 90K is probably going to be closer to a bull market bottom line support, simply because as time goes, this level will inch up slowly. Now, the other key line that I have here is this light blue line. This is the 20-week simple moving average. Now, a lot of people will remember this 20-week SMA or the 21-week EMA, which has worked for Bitcoin since the 2017 bull run. So you can go all the way back to just on the same chart, going to 2017. Right here. And you see this really established itself in 2017 because Bitcoin dipped multiple times to the 20-week SMA from 2016 to beginning of 2018. And each time that was a buying opportunity. So people really got into this mindset that, okay, the 20-week SMA is that bull market level. And you buy whenever it goes there and you sell if it gets below it. This did work somewhat. However, even until 2021, this started to diverge quite a bit because Bitcoin actually became more volatile than 2017. So you see, the last time that it did work was September 2020. And then in 2021, in May 2021, I got caught by this pretty aggressively because when this dropped below, that was essentially my signal to say, okay, the bull market is over. So I sold quite a bit of Bitcoin, but I didn't expect for it to bounce back in the second wave up. And what you'll notice here is actually very interesting because on this first time that the 20-week SMA didn't work as a bull market support, it actually did stop at the 50-week SMA. So technically, Bitcoin just became more volatile, and instead of using the 20-week SMA, the bottom line became the 50-week SMA because Bitcoin got more volatile. And you see this was also true back later on in 2022. This was the resistance of the bear market. So fast forward to today, the 20-week SMA over the last 2 years of bull run wasn't the bottom line anymore. It was typically a level where it signaled the start of a choppy period instead of a consistent uptrend, but it wasn't the end of the bull market anymore. So how I like to use this signal now is to combine it with the 50-week SMA. And here's my strategy. Very simple. Whenever Bitcoin drops to the 20-week SMA, that is a value range. That is a level where, historically speaking, it's very cheap for Bitcoin. You can start to buy. Anywhere between the 50-week SMA and the 20-week SMA is all value range. So that gives you, over the past 2 years, buying opportunities here in June 2023, and then in August 2023, in between this like 24K to 27K range before Bitcoin shot up to 43. And then that also gave you buying range in summer of 2024, again in the summer chop months, between 53K to 64K. And then if you just bought in this range and you stopped buying when it got above, you see Bitcoin shot up to 104K. And then again, earlier this year, that gave you the buying opportunity between 77K and about 93K. So this is it. It's very simple. I think this bull run, you really can't go wrong with this kind of a strategy. Whenever Bitcoin gets to the 20-week SMA, which it does, it has gotten there 3 times now in this cycle, you will have a buying opportunity. You just need to stay patient. And I'm fully expecting us to get more into this range multiple times for the rest of the cycle. So whenever this happens, you buy, and then you hold your position and you just wait to see if Bitcoin holds above the 50-week SMA. And as long as it does, we're okay. So you can just continue holding that position. If it closes below there, you should be looking to exit the position, because that kind of means that the bull run is likely over. So this kind of strategy is actually not new. So I wasn't completely sure if this was the new paradigm of Bitcoin's volatility, but I did mention this last month already. So if you look on the channel, if you followed my last updated Bitcoin strategy, this is a strategy that calls back to our video from the beginning of 2023. Very similar strategies, just with the updated SMA targets. Instead of using the 20, we use the 50. So you see on here, I was talking about how I was already watching these exact two lines. This was back in April. So the 50-week SMA was at 76K. So in our April video, I really said that I did expect 76K to be the bottom. You can go watch that video. That's exactly what I said. And if my thesis was going to be correct, and simply, we just need to use the 50-week SMA, then that was likely the bottom. And if that was the case, then we can consistently use the 50-week SMA. So that actually turned out to be true, and we did have this very amazing bounce. So that makes this cycle honestly quite easy to play now. You just buy when it touches 20-week, and you hold as long as it stays above 50-week. Okay, so that's the most important part I wanted to get through. And the other main point I want to get through in this video is that I believe we will have some more chop going to the summer. And the more fundamental reasons, you can also watch my video from back in April. So TLDR there is that I'm expecting for the Fed to actually make their pause on QT and to actually make the pivot into QE or stealth QE by Q4 of this year. So that means there's going to be more chop for the rest of this year, and Bitcoin will probably only reach 200K plus next year. So that's why, I wasn't actually completely sold on just full bull run right away, especially on altcoins, which we'll talk about in a bit. So the other part that I'm working on as my next major planned video is the seasonality of this cycle. So the age-old concept of sell in May and go away, a lot of people don't like to think about it too much. But actually, if you look at the past 3 years, usually between June and September, we do get this choppy period on Bitcoin. So you see June to September 2023 was when Bitcoin dipped into this bull market support band between 50-week and 20-week SMA. And then again, in 2024, you have between June and September right here, all of this period between those 3 months. And we are inching towards June now, right? So we're first week of June, and you take that into consideration of the seasonality, and then you consider the Fed hasn't paused QT yet. So we're not completely in the clear until Q4. Something might even happen that's a dramatic credit event. Chances are, I think we will have another revisit of at least the 20-week SMA. So that's why on this thumbnail of this video, I have that 95K mark. And that's because the 20-week SMA right now is 94K, just about. By the time we get to around this range, this level will be a little bit higher. So I would say around 95 is a fair level. And then if you zoom in a little bit, you see that on a daily time frame, there are also some horizontal levels you can look at. So I'm going to take away these for now. And if we are going to put a range, it would look something like this, where we have the Q4 2024 consolidation, where we had multiple touches of the bottom of this range. You see multiple touches back here. And then when we had the breakdown in March, this was resistance. And then finally, significant breakthrough here. So we haven't had the chance to get back to test these ranges as support yet. So I would say on a daily, we could maybe even look at low 90s, let's say 92, 93 range. But on the weekly, that should be closer to the right here. So you see the weekly closes. Let me just take away the drawings here. The weekly closes are a lot closer to 95K, right? The lowest weekly close that we had in Q4 of last year was 93,500. So quite a bit of confluence. I think if we do get this dip, 93 to 95 range will be very solid. So, and then you enter there, you have the 50-week SMA start to catch up, get above something like 85, and that's your bottom line. So the downside there is really quite low, but the upside is quite high. As long as we respect it, Bitcoin is likely to head higher. Okay, so that's my current analysis on Bitcoin. And I just want to give you last bit of anecdote. If you are a altcoin maxi, you really got to consider how you have been playing this cycle. So not even Ethereum, Solana, whatever, like XRP, Cardano, no matter which top altcoin that you are a big fan of, they have not outperformed Bitcoin consistently over the past 2.5 years since Bitcoin bottomed. Even Solana has been trending sideways and down against Bitcoin for over 1 year now. So this is just a fact. And this is because Bitcoin has completely decoupled from the rest of crypto. So if you are a crypto fan and you don't hold Bitcoin right now, you are missing out on huge, huge gains. I'm not saying that Bitcoin is going to go like 10x much easier than other altcoins. That's not the case. But for the majority of the past of this cycle, it has been a Bitcoin cycle. It has not been an altcoin cycle. At some point, the altcoin season will come, and I'll give you guys my take on that in a bit. But why not hold more Bitcoin before that happens? Because that just increases your spending power. And then once Bitcoin dominance consistently trends down, and then you have the alt season, it won't be too late for you to go heavier into altcoin. Instead of every time that you have a small bump in the altcoin market, you just go convert all your Bitcoin into low cap alts. That has burned many, many people over the past 2 years. And this is the one thing that I don't like doing anymore. I have fallen into that trap before, but nowadays, I really like to hold majority in Bitcoin, some in Ethereum and Solana, and very small amounts in blue chip altcoins in each trending category, and then just be happy with that. And when the altcoin site, when crypto Twitter gets very frothy and there are some small altcoins I want to play, I play with very small percentages. That keeps me updated. But until the Bitcoin dominance continues to trend down over the long term, I'm not going to convert my Bitcoin into low cap alts that easily. So just think about that. You might say, you might feel happy whenever Bitcoin goes up if you're holding altcoins, but look at your portfolio. Truthfully, has your portfolio outperformed Bitcoin? If it hasn't, you should be holding more Bitcoin. Very simple. Okay, now let's get into a little bit of altcoins. So Bitcoin dominance, very interesting spot. So over the past 3 weeks, I have made quite a few. I made 3 live streams. We do 1 live stream every Monday now. So even back here, when Ethereum pumped, people were calling early alt season. I was really talking to people to be cautious, and I was only holding Ethereum, Solana, one gaming coin, one AI coin, one, not even like any RWA coin, one meme coin. That was it. So really cautioning people to not be buying into low cap alts too quickly. Here as well, I was telling people, okay, even if you're into XRP, you're probably going to get a better bet. And then especially last week when Hyperliquid pumped and everything else dropped, I was, really seeing crypto Twitter froth, but rest of the market for altcoins not going up. So that's really starting to reflect here, because we had this small dip on Bitcoin dominance here, but that lasted a week. And then you see here again, Bitcoin dominance is trending up. So there is no argument. I don't know why people on crypto Twitter always like to argue that, like altcoin season has started. No, it has not. So when is the altcoin season? You can say, like, comparatively speaking, this 1 week here was a better week for altcoins than, the previous 2 months. But it lasted a week. And then the past 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, has been reverse altcoin season. So that's the truth, right? And this period was also a lot weaker of a altcoin season than Trump's inauguration week. Election week, post-election week. Even there was not a sustainable altcoin season. So I think what we really need to see are two things on Bitcoin dominance. So first is actually very interesting. The 20-week SMA, when applied to Bitcoin dominance, is acting as short-term support for Bitcoin dominance. You see, most of the time it drops to this light blue line and then it bounces. So if it stays above there, there's no way that's an altcoin season over a long term. When it drops below there, we also need to see it close below the 50-week SMA. That was the point that the post-election altcoin rally couldn't get above, and Bitcoin dominance stopped here. So if we got a consistent, second leg, and this closed below here and made a lower low on Bitcoin dominance, that would have started the real altcoin season, where Bitcoin dominance was going to continue dropping. However, that didn't happen, right? So we are nowhere close to that yet. So in order for altcoin season to actually be there, what do we need to see, right? We need to see this low, at least, that we made in second week of May. We need to see this low being taken out. So if we get a daily time frame where Bitcoin dominance drops below 61.8%, that would be a good sign as a start. And then that will get us a lot closer to the 50-week SMA. And then if it continues, especially on a weekly time frame, to drop below the 50-week SMA and close below there, that will be the start of a macro altcoin season where it can last multiple months, even up to a year. So that's the real altcoin season. So stop, trying to argue that, we had an altcoin season. Yeah, it lasted a week. So is it a season or is it a week? And what could you have profited from in a week time frame? You needed to buy a meme and then sell within the same week. So that's not what we're looking for here. What we're looking for is sustained, across the board altcoins outperforming Bitcoin, and that hasn't happened. So until that happens, you hold majority in Bitcoin and you hold large caps and you just wait. You got to be patient. Okay, so finally, let me revisit some of my trade setups that I have been covering on live streams. So over the past 3 weeks, I've covered Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and a few other alts for entries. I'm just going to show you right now. So 3 weeks ago, we covered my entry on Ethereum and Solana. So on Ethereum, same target that I had was between 2,000 and 2,100. So we hasn't gotten there yet. You see, I have this exact same chart on, literally the same level. So Fibonacci retracement for the next value range, 0.236, right around 2100. So we're currently chopping a bit. If we get this Bitcoin drop, so base case, right? Over the next, I don't know how long, but until September, if we get Bitcoin to drop towards the 50-week SMA at 95K, Ethereum is going to drop. Solana is going to drop. All the large caps are going to drop, right? If Bitcoin drops. So what would that level be like? I think we can at least get something around the $2,000 level on Ethereum if this happens. So that would be my entry. That has been my target for the past 3 weeks. I'm just waiting. On Solana, same thing. Back here, I was talking about my Solana entry. It was like right here, right? So this was right around 135, 140 range. And you see same level. So 236 Fibonacci retracement, matching these inverse head and shoulders breakout pattern from March and April, right? So the resistance here now turns into support. Ideally, I would like to see around 140. We're getting pretty close, actually. Solana's already at 153. If it gets to 140, I would like to maybe even make a trade on it to take a long position at around 140. So we're getting pretty close. This is, maybe we can even update this next week or something if this happens. And then next we have XRP. So this is why I had on XRP. I covered this 2 weeks ago. So this was not mainly based on XRP USD level, but more so XRP BTC, because XRP has been chopping against Bitcoin, and since beginning of the year, it has been downtrending against Bitcoin. So my target was for it to get to about a 23% drawdown from this breakdown. And that was from a Fibonacci level as well, if I remember correctly. Let me draw this fib from the bottom to top. Yeah, right there. So usually it should be this way here. Yeah. Usually that 382, so 618 retracement acting as support here. And then 0.5 has already been hit. The next level that I'm looking at on the XRP BTC ratio chart is 382 Fibonacci retracement, which is a 23% drawdown from 2 weeks ago when I made that video. And assuming Bitcoin holds at around 100K, that gives us about a $1.80 for XRP USD entry level. So waiting on that as well. You see we're already kind of on our way, but it'll take some more time. So when this happens, I'll actually make an update as well. So I'll be allocating some part of my portfolio into XRP. I'm not sure exactly what how I'll rebalance this. But yeah, I think this still has a good chance of happening. Okay, so those are the, I would say, big three in terms of altcoins that people like to hold. And then for myself personally, in my portfolio, you guys know I have the categories that I like: gaming, AI, meme coins, RWA. I mean, that's about it. So in gaming, we have Super. So actually very interesting is all three of my top picks in these three categories have very clean charts. I think this is what really has drawn me into these projects, is that their performance in the past cycle, in the past 2 years, has been consistent. It hasn't lost value since the Bitcoin bull market started. So you see on Super, first of all, very clean. We have this support range between 0.37 to around 0.5 that has held multiple times. So held in January 2024, held in July to August 2024, and then again held in March, April, the last dip, 2025. So pretty clear here, if we get Bitcoin to drop to 95K again as that last chance, or one more chance that you can get a value entry, I think we can get super in this range. That would be really cool of an entry if we can get something like this. Because people know, right? The project has a diehard community that has picked up this coin whenever it dropped into these value ranges, and the next time that it comes, people are going to look to load up. Same thing on BitTensor. You see very similar type of pattern between 165 to around 230 value range that has held in January 2024, in summer 2024, and then March, April 2025. So if we get Bitcoin to 95K, we can look to pick up BitTensor in this range. Very simple. So again, category leader in AI. This is going to be the coin to hold in the AI category to get exposure to everything. Everyone is launching a BitTensor subnet. It's just that one coin to hold. It's like the Bitcoin of AI sector. Okay, and then we have PEPE. So actually quite similar as well. So PEPE held in April 2024, in August 2024, in March, April 2025. And this level is around 0.005 to 0.007. This is a 1,000 times PEPE contract, just for the sake of the unit price being actually like more legible. So that's why you see less decimals here. So the next time Bitcoin drops, I would like to pick up more PEPE in this range, either as a trade or to add to a long-term portfolio, depending on what you have allocated to already. I think this is quite a no-brainer. So that's pretty much it. Again, you can buy some alts. You can start to have targets to buy large caps, the largest of largest coins, Ethereum, Solana, XRP. Those are all no-brainers. You can buy Super, Tau, PEPE. These are category leaders that's been proven for 2.5, 3 years of the last, like, what do you even call this? Like Bitcoin bull market that people know these are the coins that are going to lead the sector. But for new coins, for coins that are super hyped up on crypto Twitter, I don't think the time is there yet to be getting into those things because Bitcoin dominance is still trending up. So until Bitcoin dominance trends down and makes lower highs and lower lows on weekly time frame, we don't have a sustained alt season across the board. So you got to be really careful when calling for these kind of things. So that's why I'm still playing it pretty safe. I'm very happy with just what I hold. I have plenty of altcoin exposure with these things that I hold. And I'm not worried. I like to trade, and I post about my trades on Twitter about low caps, but they're not going in my long-term portfolio. Not until we have Bitcoin dominance coming in and printing sustainable downtrend again. Okay, finally, small portfolio update actually. So you guys know my public portfolio, and I have been trying to take a much more focused approach on a portfolio, because what is a portfolio? A portfolio, by definition, is something you want to hold, something that you get into and you hold for not even just like a couple months, but year plus. So I've been even like cutting down more and more for the coins that I have less conviction or the ones that haven't moved. And I made some more adjustments. So I sold Near Protocol, I sold Ampleforth, and I sold Axelar. And I'll give you some just straight up simple reasons. Come on, CoinMarketCap. Yeah. So Near Protocol, it's one of the top AI layer ones, but compared to BitTensor, it's just been weak. I don't know why. It doesn't have the same kind of performance as BitTensor. It just hasn't trended up, especially in this last wave of Bitcoin recovery. BitTensor was up like 2.5, 3x. Near Protocol did nothing. So I don't know what's happening here. AI is such a popular category, and being the number 2 AI layer 1, you've got to be up. But we are like near cycle lows. So I don't know what's happening, and this is why I sold the near. I would rather just buy more BitTensor if we get BitTensor to come down again. We have XLR, very kind of sour position, to be fair with you. I don't know why people are not catching on to this infra play. Maybe because they're not pushing themselves hard enough in the RWA category, and instead people are still seeing it as cross-chain. So RWA is super strong. RWA is one of those big sectors this cycle. So I wanted to have XLR as my exposure, but whenever RWA gets popular, when you see these new things, although, you know, even Mantra, right? Mantra pumped so much before it crashed ultimately, but that really showed people's interest in RWA. And then you have Plume, you have, what else is popular in RWA recently? Pendle, you have like Ethena, you have so many things popping up. Yet XLR supposedly powers everything and it just doesn't move. So I don't know what's happening, and that's why I sold my XLR, and I want to allocate that position into something I can actually hold in RWA. And I haven't found that coin yet because things are either too inflated in fully diluted valuation, or they're kind of like this where they're not performing. So I don't know what's happening in that sector. Maybe I'll never find anything. But it is what it is. I don't know how to get exposure to RWA right now. But I just know that is a big sector with a lot of money. Finally, I sold my Ampleforth. This is a kind of a, you know, sad project that I didn't see it come back. I really expected so much more of this this quarter for Ampleforth, especially with their liquidity campaign that was pushing a lot of rewards to bring up the TVL. But I've been tracking this very closely, and you see since this period, since Q1, their TVL dropped a lot from, you know, that 8 million mark to now like under 1 million. I don't know what's happening there. They actually have so much rewards that if you wanted to park money in spot cash paired with USDC and farm, you can get like up to, I think, like 30%, but seems nobody wants to take part of this. And that directly reflects in this protocol's growth and shrinkage, because the two are actually very tied together. Whenever the protocol grows in TVL, the market cap grows. And whenever the protocol shrinks in TVL, the market cap shrinks. So this is actually working in the intendedly. And that's why you see this. So I don't know what's happening. Yeah, I just needed to take a step back and really consider, okay, why is nobody willing to park their TVL and park their stables in here to farm? And yeah, so that's why I have sold my Ampleforth position as well. I also saw it as somewhat of a beta play to RWA, but again, they haven't latched on to RWA narrative either. So want to free up that liquidity to be looking into other RWA projects as well. Okay, that's about it. So yeah, once Bitcoin drops to 95K range, if it does, I will be looking to load up ideally something in the RWA category, and then I'll be loading up more Super, more BitTensor, more Bitcoin maybe if I see some good chance, if there's a sharper drop, maybe even into that high 80s. And that's about it. Like I don't really want to buy anything else at the moment. So thank you guys for joining this live stream. Before I go, two things. Please follow me on X at VirtualBacon0x. This is where I drop all of the quickest alpha before I make them into these live streams and in-depth videos. And especially now that I don't have much portfolio updates where I'm adding in new things, the trades are going to be more often on X because I can whip them up instantly and you get that signal. And make sure to subscribe to the channel. Only a small percentage of our audience is subscribed. If you're not subscribed yet, you're not going to be getting the notifications for our live streams, which we are doing every Monday. So make sure to subscribe to the channel so you catch up with me every Monday and I can answer your questions. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you guys for joining, and I will see you on